everyone, and welcome to I'm a Fan. I'm your host, Kimbra Eberly, and today I have a very special person that I'm so glad he could come to the studio, Dennis McKean. And he has a very special place called Where to Turn on Staten Island, and we'll get right into it. Dennis, thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate all that you do. And I want to start off with talking about your shop, Where to Turn, and when it all started, like, you know, how you came about doing it.
We were, during 9/11, we lost 29 people in St. Clair's Church. It was my parish at the time.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And the Monsignor asked a group of people to get together and put together a group to help the families that lost loved ones. And I wound up being in charge of the group and basically started a First Steps of Recovery program for the families. And it kind of caught on where people outside the parish wanted the information, and then off of Staten Island. And the Robin Hood Foundation basically called us up and said, "We love what you're doing. We want to support you." So we had originally been doing it through the church, and they actually worked to make us a 501c3.
Wow, okay.
And the name Where to Turn came from family members, when they were coming to meetings, said they were coming because they didn't know where to turn.
Oh.
So that's how it started. And when we worked with Robin Hood, we said we didn't only want it to be a 9/11 organization, we wanted it to create programs to help senior citizens, to get the kids more involved in the community, and create programs to basically recreate, well, they used to teach civics in school, and instill some of those ideals with students, and get them to interact with senior citizens. And it kind of just grew from there.
Oh, my heart goes out because I didn't know the story about how you came up with the name.
Yeah.
That's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful story. So through Where to Turn, now I met you through part of your company, business, the Prop Shop, which
Yes.
you started amazingly for theater groups on Staten Island, that they could come and get things for their show. So tell us about that and how that started.
Okay, we run the clean team on Staten Island, so we had warehouse space for our equipment.
Okay,
and
hold your
all.
thought a minute. The clean team, just like nobody knows what the clean team is either, but it's a great.
Yeah, the city council gets money allocated each year for each of their districts to do litter cleanup, weed cutbacks, and graffiti cleanups. So they asked me, at the time it was Vinny Ignizio and Steve Matteo, asked me to support their two districts because I had already been doing it on my own anyway.
Yeah.
And it became a regular thing, so every year I get funding to do that part. So
you go, do people ask you, or you just see a bad spot and go clean it? Or?
a little bit of both. They report locations to the city, their council member, and then I get a shared drive where it comes up and they list all the locations that need cleanups. But if I see something, I just go and do it anyway.
So as far as graffiti, though, that could be tricky because some graffiti is actually artwork that
Yes.
is put, and not just like, you know.
If we do any graffiti cleanups, basically what we need is a waiver signed by the property owner, not the store manager,
okay.
but the property owner, and they give us permission to cover over the graffiti.
Okay.
So that basically does away with any issues of
Right.
people
Yeah.
hiring people to do murals or stuff that other people may consider to be graffiti.
Right, because I think that would be a little tricky.
Yes. But
Yeah.
so we had the person who rented our space where we store all of our equipment before us actually built an entire second floor out of shelving. So we had a second floor that was empty. So what happened was In the Wings was doing Mamma Mia and had a chance to buy the entire set for practically nothing because a touring company was ending their tour, but they had no place to store it until, for the 3 months until they were ready to do the show. So I said you could store it on the second floor. And
So you got the Mamma Mia set?
I got the Mamma Mia set, and then
funny.
when it was done, they brought back stuff that they thought they could reuse, and we just left it up there. And we did the same thing when Ghostlight did Cabaret. We put the stuff back up
Yeah.
there. And then I just said, I have the space. Why don't I just reach out and see if anybody wants to donate props and see what we get? And that's when COVID hit.
So you started the prop shop in what year?
2 years ago.
Wow, because it's grown
Yes.
unbelievable
Yes.
into, well, go ahead, continue.
So even during COVID, people were just dropping off things, everything from, old TVs to, we have a 1949 Philco television set, telephones, basically anything you could think of.
Yeah.
And we organized it, and and then we reached out to theater groups. There's like over 13 theater companies on Staten Island, and then all of the schools as well. And we just said, listen, we have props. You're welcome to come, borrow them, and bring them back free of charge, and just help support, because funding always gets cut for the arts first. So
Yeah.
I figured make it a little bit easier for them to do shows. And we weren't going to do costumes. We were only going to do props. And we, over the last 2 years, we collected over 3,500 props. And we have 1,500 pieces of wardrobe.
Well, I've been there, and it's quite impressive. I mean, you can get, when we did the tea party over here, we got like tea sets, tables, cloths, like Victorian tablecloths. We got all of our props. We didn't even have to go to Party City. Let's put it that way. We came to you, and it was beautiful. It was.
Though that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
The whole idea is to make it easier for people to put on shows, and make it easier for schools to put on shows. And it just keeps growing. People keep donating. We just this past week we got a beautiful, pristine condition barber chair.
Nice.
So
I think you were telling me it was really heavy or something.
Yeah, it was very heavy. But if
Wow.
we ever do, Sweeney Todd or something, we have.
Yeah.
Now we have a barber chair to go with everything else.
So I love the prop shop. I mean, I just love coming there and looking because I'm a filmmaker. So it's like a filmmaker's dream to, like, you walk in and then it gives you ideas.
Right.
So off of that comment, it gives you ideas. You came up with an idea for filmmakers that you want to do
Yes.
this contest. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we actually have two ideas in mind. The first idea is for local playwrights. And what we want to do is you come to the prop shop, you pick out 5 props, and you have to write a 1-act play based on those 5 props.
I love that.
And what we'll do is we're going to work with Ghostlight to actually produce the show, the winning, maybe get 1 or 2 different age group winning shows,
Yeah.
and actually put on a performance of the 1-act play.
That's awesome. I love that idea.
The second idea is, since we have about 1,000 playbills, we're separating out all the musical playbills, and we're going to have a competition where you pay $25 to enter if you think you're good enough, and you come up, you get selected, you come up on stage, you put your hand in the bin, you pull out a playbill. You have to perform a song from that show, but it can't be the title song.
Ooh.
If you get it right, you move on to the next level. If you get it wrong, you're
Oh.
out. So that's what we're going
That's
to do.
awesome.
And again,
What
it's
if
just
you don't know the show? Then you're
then
out.
You're out.
Oh,
That's
wow.
it. So, you really have to. We have playbills going back to probably the 1920s.
That's a
you
little
so-
rough.
Yeah. But it's fun, and
Yes,
it's,
yes.
and,
That's a great idea, too.
So, and like I said, we try to get great idea, come up with ideas. We also recommend, if any school is planning to do shows next year, they should really come to the prop shop prior to deciding what show they want to do, because they can see what we have
Right.
and base their ideas on, oh, wow, they have enough stuff to do The Wizard of Oz, or they have enough stuff to do Guys and Dolls, or whatever.
Well, I know in outfits too. I know you have a lot of like a wedding ensemble, so you have bridesmaids dresses and
Which get used a lot for Halloween.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, you could have a whole cast
Yeah.
like of outfits
Yeah.
wearing. Yeah, it's amazing. And speaking of that, you collect prom dresses and toys all year round.
Yes.
But you did a prom dress drive or something.
We started collecting prom dresses years ago, and it just grew into a regular program. So now every year we offer prom dresses for free. Any person who can't afford a prom dress can come, take one,
That's
take
so
2.
great.
And now that we have the prop shop, we also have probably 25 tuxedos. So even if if guys need tuxedos for,
If they're getting married, they can just come and get their
whatever, we're like
It's like
whatever I have. It's funny.
Do you have vintage clothing too?
We
Like-
have some vintage clothing.
Yeah.
We also have a lot of Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
We have about 50 Halloween costumes, and we tell people don't buy, you go into a party.
Well, this last Halloween I didn't buy. I came to your shop and got my Halloween costume.
There you go.
Just being transparent, like.
No, and that's that's what we wanted to be. We wanted to be there to help the community. And the one thing about Where to Turn is that if anybody has an idea, or if they want to organize a cleanup, a beach cleanup, a street cleanup, or whatever, we'll provide all of the materials, the picker-uppers, the bags, the gloves, whatever they need to do. This past Sunday, what we did was we helped out, actually Saturday, we helped out at Tappan Park. We cleaned up all of the graffiti around Tappan Park.
Yeah.
Because they were the Van Duzer Civic Association.
Yeah.
And Mike McMahon.
Yeah,
so
I saw that. It's great.
they just called us and we just said,
Yeah.
okay, well.
So I want to talk a little bit about your senior programs. Now you have a senior citizen
Prom.
prom.
Yeah, this started about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
We, Deidre DeAngelis was the principal at Newdorp High School, and we got together and we just started. This was actually right after Sandy, because what we did for Sandy, we collected a lot of stuff for Sandy. We gave out, and we had a whole prom expo at Newdorp High School where we gave away shoes and dresses or whatever.
That's just amazing.
And we talked to her about, well, why don't we get together and have a prom for senior citizens? And it turned into a yearly event. We have room for about 225 senior citizens. It's open to any senior citizen 65 or older, and it's a complete prom. We have a DJ. It's catered. It's catered by Applebee's. They do that for free.
Wow.
We have King and Queen of the Prom.
How do you find your sponsors?
What? They come to us.
They just come to you. They know of you and they just show up.
Right. They hear about programs and
That's
and
amazing,
they want to be
Dennis.
part. So.
Yeah.
And that's why we're reaching out now for some sponsors for the prop shop.
Yeah.
Because, we do have expenses,
Yeah, of course.
utilities, rent, and whatever. So we're trying to get a couple of, corporate sponsors and maybe some grants.
Well, you've grown in
Yes.
a few years, like tremendously. So I can understand the need for that, for sure.
We expanded into another whole room with just costumes.
Yeah.
And then we also now have 2 containers filled with X that we have no room for in the prop
Wow.
shop.
So what happens when you outgrow your space? I mean, are you planning on looking for another space?
We're always looking, but what we're doing now is when we first started, we accepted everything.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of things. We have a lot of duplicates of things. We have a lot of things that we're probably never going to use.
Mm-hmm.
So as good stuff comes in, we're replacing some of the older
I
stuff.
get that.
Making
yeah.
room. And then you have to realize that at any given time, we probably have, anywhere from 2 to 5 shows going on that props are loaned out. So there's
Right.
space.
So
And
you're
then
rolling it over,
rolling
kind
it
of.
over and everything.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever? I mean, what is amazing is you maintain to keep everything for free.
well, that's the whole point.
And yes, have you had any problems with returns or anything like that, or people been good?
90% of the people have been really good. A couple of people a little lackadaisical about returning
Okay.
it, but we've not been in any situation where we haven't gotten the
That's
prop.
good. Yeah.
And again, every once in a while something may break or whatever, but that happens all the time. It
Yeah.
happens when you rent stuff. It even happens.
Yeah, of course, of course. So you also do snow shoveling for seniors, also.
Right.
I mean, you guys are out there.
Well, what we did is we started a program which, going back to 9/11, I got a call from a 9/11 widow. Her husband was a firefighter who died in the World Trade Center, and he used to always shovel for his mother. So she called me up and said, "Is there any way you can find me somebody to shovel for my mother-in-law?" So we did. And then we said, well, if we can do it for one, let's see if we can do it for more. So we reached out to all of the schools, and we offered any student 13 years of age or older could register for the program. And then we registered senior citizens, and we have about 2,000 senior citizens in the database. And what we do is a student registers, we match them up with a senior citizen within walking distance of their home, and they adopt that senior for the winter. And every time it snows,
That's great.
they shovel for that senior, and they get, at the end of the winter, they get community service credit.
That is awesome. How what kind of database do you have? Just a regular?
Just a regular database where
Like-
you use Excel files for that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
And we work with the city council, David Carr now.
Mm-hmm.
Lorraine in David's office works with us, so she maintains, the database for us. People call them up, they put the seniors in the database, we match them up.
It's so amazing. It's amazing. So, what are your plans for the future? I know you probably have a lot of ideas, I'm sure.
We basically, like I said, what we want to do now is we have enough programs in place to keep us busy. What we want to do now is try to create, like we did with the prop shop, create a place where people can go if students want to put on a show on their own. We have the back room now in the prop shop where it's set up similar to this.
Yeah, I saw it.
If you want to do, we have a green screen that we're going to set up. So if you want to do, an interview, you want to promote, or you want to do a video, or you want to promote a show coming up, we do things like that.
Yeah.
Like my son James is involved in the theater,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's how I got involved. I'm on the advisory board for the Minties, and I'm on the advisory board for In the Wings, and I'm one of the producers of Ghostlight, and I have no talent.
But that's great. Well, yeah, but being on a board is not always having to be that
Right.
actor or whatever.
Right.
It's you support people that are doing something really good for the community.
I like to be, behind the scenes getting things
Yeah.
done.
And let me tell you, you are. You are. I would be exhausted with all the things that you do.
That's okay.
I'm just in awe, of how fast, your business has grown, and for anyone who hasn't been to Where to Turn, your address is
22 Brianna Court.
Yeah. What's that restaurant?
It's right down the block from Kilmeyer's.
Kilmeyer's. Yeah, you make a right and it's
You
down
go
the
down
block.
Sharrett's
from there.
Road off of Arthur Kill,
Yeah.
and you'll see us. We rent from Premier Glass. That's the place that we do it. And we're open every Saturday from 12 to 3. And then during the week, we're usually open 1:30 to 3, Monday to Friday. But that's by appointment only because we do the cleanups in the morning.
And they can get in touch with you on Facebook and
We have a Facebook page, the Way to Turn Prop Shop.
yeah.
They can also, we have a website, the Way to Turn website. They can get through to us there as well.
I'll put that up too.
Yeah.
I'll put that up. But I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you very
And that's
much.
why you're here, because I am, and I think you're doing tremendous work for the community, and I just love everything about what you do.
I
And
appreciate it. I like the things you
appreciate
do here too.
We have fun.
Getting the word out is
Yeah.
it's important. There's a lot of
It
people
is.
on Staten Island doing a lot of great things.
Yes.
And unfortunately, in the media, you only hear about the bad things.
This is true.
I would like to get the word about all of these great kids that are doing shows. I think that theater is so important. Theater and forensics in high school is so important. I know about 40 or 50 kids that my son went to school with, that if they didn't have theater or forensic, they would have been lost in high school.
Aw.
And now I think 5 of them are lawyers now.
Oh, wow.
And theater builds up confidence. It builds up, stage presence. It really it molds, individuals into really, makes them, prepares them for later in life.
Yeah. And I know you had you sponsored, so to speak, the holiday spooky spectacular.
Yes, with Scott Meany and
Scott Meany, right?
Thomas Fucarello. Yes.
Kenny and I actually watched it online. It was really well produced. The way they put that together.
And it was all done with puppets.
It was all done with puppets.
Puppets
it was
and
a
poets.
lot. Yes,
So-
yes, it was a lot of fun, and I could tell the amount of work that went into that.
Yeah, Scott and Tom are very, 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 very creative.
Yes.
And what we also do is every year we do the Beetle Blast.
Oh,
at
right.
At the St. George Theater. That's our largest fundraiser.
Yeah.
And we celebrate Beatle albums every year with Eddie Burke.
You had a band though squeezed into the prop shop that they
were rehearsing there.
They were rehearsing, but I saw like an audience like squeezed back in the halls watching them and stuff. What
we do is every year we have the band called the Blue Meanies. They do whatever album we're doing cover to cover.
Yeah.
And then we audition Staten Islanders, and we pick 15 Staten Islanders, and we each give them a song not on that album, on the other Beatle albums, and they each get to sing a solo song with the band on stage at the
Let me
St.
know
George
when that
Theater.
happens again.
Sure.
Maybe I'll audition.
Hey, no problem.
This is Beatles.
There you go.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you once again for being here, and for all of you. If you know somebody that you're a fan of, let them know and pay it forward. And one thing I want to say about your positivity, I noticed that for the coronavirus, you post all the people that are recovered,
Yes.
which is great because you don't hear about that part.
That happened in the very beginning. All they had in the news were all of the people that, were dying and everything, and they didn't print, the people that survived.
Right.
And I thought it was just as important, since 99% of the people actually were recovering.
Yes.
And so I just started one day posting statistics, and I've been doing it for 2 years now.
Fabulous.
Morning, so.
All right. So again, we will see you soon. Until then, this is signing off.